just washed my car yesterday. At least it looks somewhat decent. But today we are going to be messing with the water methanol, or well, I guess water sprayer in my case. That video actually did a lot better than I thought it would with my DIY water sprayer, which actually, now that I think about it, I have been running the windshield washer fluid with one full container of heat added to it, so it'll bring up the methanol content. The car has not done anything funny with it. It seems to like it. In fact, today I made a little restrictor pill for the return line. So how this system works, it feeds through the pump. So down on the bottom, goes through a pump, comes up to this big line. I have 2 check valves installed now because it was actually siphoning liquid out and filling up my intake, and my MAF would basically be sitting in water. So went ahead, installed check valves. So there's 2 of those. So you kind of have to have a little bit of pressure for them to open up, which is totally fine. And it does have a teed section, so it's running to the nozzle as well as to the return, so it's not building too much pressure at the nozzle and risking blowing the nozzle out into the inlet of the turbo. The pressure that the windshield washer pump, which is just one of the Volkswagen windshield washer pumps, it makes enough pressure to, if I just shot it clean out of a hose this size, it would shoot like 20 feet. Which is a lot of pressure, so I didn't want to have any of these lines popping off or blow anything in the intake and ruin the turbo. So I do have like a fuel system, a little return, so it goes back to the tank and cycles back through. So anyway, I made a little pill, drilled I think it was like a 16th inch hole in here. There is actually currently one in place. We're going to put a smaller one and make a little bit more pressure, shoot a little bit more fluid, and hopefully the car likes it a little bit more. So I think something that is important is the more pressure that you have at the nozzle, the finer the mist is as well, but the car might not be happy with more water methanol going in, so just do it at your own risk. So one more thing that I wanted to try with the system is I'm going to pull the intake piece off with the nozzle and all. We're going to aim it away from the car. I'm going to get the blowtorch, and we are going to see how much of the liquid actually burns. We'll see how flammable it is, how dangerous it really is, how much of a fuel it really is. And yeah, I want to see that. Alright, so we repositioned it. So here is the nozzle sprayer right here. And like I was saying, so it goes in through and into this piece here and just sprays the mist down the tube and into the turbo. So how I can test it is we have this Hobbs switch here. All I have to do is disconnect it from the vacuum or boost source, and we can go ahead and put pressure on this, so I can just activate the system to make sure everything triggers. And once this sees enough pressure, it'll turn the pump on as well as the indicator light in the car and start spraying. So yeah. Alright, so I've got that hooked up to my bike pump, so I can pump and it sprays. And as you guys can see, it's a pretty fine mist that comes out of it. So yeah. Anyway, we will go ahead and get the blowtorch, and let's see if this thing, or if that fluid is actually somewhat flammable. So as you guys could see, it doesn't exactly put the fire out, but it does not burn. There's still too much water content in that to actually burn. However, there is a fine line. You don't want to be putting too much alcohol in your intake track. It will change how the engine runs and you'll start to lose power, but I have wanted to test that. So that is windshield washer fluid plus 1 bottle of the heat, the yellow one. That is 99% methanol. So yeah, anyway, so that little experiment is done. I'm going to put the intake back on. I'm going to pull this piece off, and we are going to go ahead and put that restrictor pill in. Or actually, we'll put the restrictor pill in before we put this back on, and we'll see the spray. Alright guys, so that is basically all I wanted to do. It's getting dark. It's starting to clear up a little bit, which is nice. So you can see how much is actually spraying out, how fine the mist is. Tomorrow, when it's sunny, we'll go ahead and pull the intake off, and I will show you guys what it looks like under there. I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is to inject pre-turbo. Anyway, I'm going to put this thing back together. I'm going to refill it, and we will catch up with you guys later.